What is up, my dudes? Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Sane, your Night Protector. Today's video, let's go over some Pokemon Emerald again. And I'm back on my Monolocke train, so let's go over the Pokemon Emerald Monolocke tier list, how each type does on their own, just that type, just that one type, and how they'll do. And if you want to do a Monolocke run of Pokemon Emerald, how many encounters there are. I've got a list of criteria here, so let's go over the criteria here. So first off is, let me pull that. Right there. Okay, so the first thing is encounter numbers. How many encounters do you get? The second part is encounter value. How good are the Pokemon of the encounters? How are their matchups throughout the region? You know, gym leaders, Elite Four, stuff like that. Champion. And the N-type variety, which is kind of like encounter value. You know, how different are the Pokemon from each other in the type? Like, do you have walls? Do you have sweepers? Are all the Pokemon kind of doing the exact same thing? Stuff like that. We'll go over it. I do have the tier list pretty much pre-made, so we'll be going off of that too. And I've also got all the Pokemon here, so I'll show you the encounters and also, you know, like which encounters you'll not be able to get and everything like that. So, like some types, for the bug type, for example, you actually can't get every single bug type in the game. There's going to be some you can only get one or the other of, and so I'll clarify that too, and probably tell you. I'll tell you what I guess I would say is the hopeful encounters there. So let's go ahead and get that started. Also, guys, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm going to be getting editing software here soon. I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers, and I know once I hit that, that'll help me start. I think that's when I can start getting sponsors and stuff like that for the videos. So help me out, help my channel a lot. So please subscribe if you haven't already. And let's get into the video. So first three, Dragon, Ghost, and Ice. There are not enough encounters to do any of them. There are 3 Dragon types, there are 3 Ice types, and there are 4 Ghost types. I don't count that as a legal Monolocke, at least. I'm not gonna count that. I'm not gonna rate that. You don't even have a full team. You don't even have close to a full team. I'll count the types where you only have 5, because then you're at least only 1 Pokemon away from a full team. While like Ghost, you're 2 Pokemon away from a full team, and you have to have at least half of a full team. You know. So these 3, just don't do them. You can't really do it. Yeah, don't do it. And let me get these in alphabetical order, I guess, to talk about them. So I'll start with Bug. Bug is in the C tier for me. You get 6 encounters. There are 9 bug types, and you only get 6. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about all of them too, just so you guys can see hands-on. Even though it is both the Wurmple line, you do get both of these. They're split evolutions, but it's like 2 different lines, and you can also get, you can catch, if you catch a Wurmple that evolves into a Cascoon and a Dustox, then you can catch a Silcoon in the forest. So you can get it as like a separate encounter, different from Wurmple. And I don't think it shows the Pokeball under Silcoon if you have Cascoon, so it shows a separate Pokemon, so I'm going to count them as separate. Also, I don't think there's a reason you need to separate these 2. You get one of the 2 Nincada forms, which is Ninjask or Shedinja, and honestly, you're probably going to want Ninjask, because Shedinja, while being so broken, doesn't really help you against the types you're bad against. In fact, it's just like, you can't use it against the types you're bad against, while Ninjask can actually carry you against some of the things you're bad against, so I recommend going Ninjask. The evolution, you get one of either Illumise or Volbeats. Volbeat's far better, in my opinion. However, if you got Illumise, it can get Encore at 25, so in the middle of Watson's gym, you can get Encore. That could be really good. And you get our Maldo, the Fossil, and then you get one of these 2 from the Safari Zone, either Heracross or Pinsir. Heracross is a little bit better, but they're both pretty much the exact same thing of like fighting coverage, very strong endgame Pokemon. The bug type is fun for Monolocks because you get the early game bugs, which are designed to carry you through the early game, and then there's usually strong bug types near the end of the game, which is like Heracross, Pinsir, and Armaldo in this case, which carry you later. And then you have like Ninjask, who's kind of both at the same time, which is cool. But it's not easy for sure. You got a lot of hard matchups to deal with. First off, I mean, Roxanne will be a little tricky with these 2. You can pull it off, and with Nincada as well. You can pull it off, but she's not going to be easy. Brawly's going to be super easy. And then you hit Watson, who's going to be pretty tricky. I mean, Dustox is nice for it. Beautyfly is weak, but it has Stun Spore to at least slow down the fast electric types. And if Beautyfly gets sacked there, then it gets sacked. Volbeat can be really helpful there as well, just by being another Pokemon. And Shedinja actually would carry you through Watson, so that's a reason to get Shedinja instead of Ninjask, but you can only do one. Unless you want to change your rule set and say, okay, any fully evolved bug Pokemon, I can use all of them no matter what route encounters they are, because then you could have like 9 Pokemon, because Volbeat and Illumise are caught in the same route, and these two are caught both in the Safari Zone. So you'd have to basically pick between one of the two, or just whichever one you get first. But if you wanted to get rid of that Nuzlocke rule and just make it a mono type run and not really a mono Nuzlocke, you could go ahead and use both of them to have 9 Pokemon, which I think would bump it maybe into B tier just for more encounters, but I think just C tier for there. And the real trouble there is Flannery and Winona. I don't really know how you're supposed to beat Flannery and Winona. I can't tell you a good game plan. It's really tough. It's really rough. But I'm sure you could do it like Ninjask with Swords Dance and Dig can hit the fire types pretty hard. And Ninjask setting up with Swords Dance hitting with maybe Guts Boost or maybe Facade, and you burn yourself could get you through Winona. That's kind of how I thought about it. So pretty tricky. But then the rest of the game is not too hard. Tantalizer's pretty easy with this whole crew. And Juan's not easy at all, but you do have Baton Pass, Swords Dance on something like a Heracross or Pinsir, which can blow through pretty much the entire end game there. So Bug lands itself in C. Dark is an A tier type to me. You have 7 encounters, and you don't really have any gyms that beat you. You're weak to fighting, but you have Sableye to handle Brawly, and so is Brawly. And then up against Watson, you've got these 3 Pokemon, and these 3 all do very solid against Watson. I think you can get through them without any deaths. Flannery, things get tricky, but you do have Howl and Dig on Mighty Anna, so you can set up and get through her. It's not easy, but it's not a wall, so I'm not going to consider it, like the hardest fight ever. By Norman, you also get Cacturn, so you've got another Pokemon to help you out with Norman. What other dark types am I missing here? Crawdont, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you get Absol at the end. For 7, you get all 7. There's no conflicts of things. And yeah, the only gym you really lose to is Brawly, which is going to be pretty easy because of Sableye. So you'll have some trouble with Flannery. Norman probably won't be too hard, to be honest, with these 4, and Sableye invalidates the slacking with Detect. And even like Howl Dig, you can set up on something maybe. So you can definitely get through it. Winona, you're going to have your water types by that point. You have your full team at this point, and you can teach Ice Beam to Crawdont or Sarpedo, and even get like Thunderbolt on Absol if you insist. And then the rest of the game is kind of just blowing through with your dark types. You've got some good variety. You've not like the bulkiest Pokemon, but you've got Intimidate and good type coverage between the Grass and Waters and Sableye being immune to fighting. I think you've got a good squad here, and Absol with Swords Dance can really start going crazy and blowing things up because its speed stat is actually good for Emerald, because most of the endgame Pokemon are really not that fast, except for like Kingdra. But you can still get away with it, like set up Swords Dance and Aerial Ace the Kingdras or whatever, and pull it off. So I think you've got a pretty good squad here. I think Dark type would go into A tier just because there's not just the lack of walls. Electric's another A tier type to me because type matchups, again, you're doing really good. You win 3 of the gyms or Elite 4 members because you have the Water Gym, and then you have Wallace, the Water Champion. And then you also beat the Flying Gym. And you lose 2, but I don't really... You technically lose 2, but it's Roxanne, which you have to change your starter to something. And if you change your starter to, like, Voltorb or Magaton with Sonic Boom, it's not too hard to get past Roxanne. And with... and even the... Nose Pass is just pure rock, so you don't have to deal with another ground type. And then the other one is Drake. Drake, the Dragon type. And it's not the worst thing in the world because most of his team is actually neutral to Electric. It's really just that Flygon that's going to be really tough to beat. But the rest of the game, you're looking pretty good. You get 6 of 7 Electric types. You do have to pick one unless you change your starter and get specific ones. So the electric types you get Raichu in the Safari Zone. You get Manectric, Plusle, and you can get Minun if you just catch your Volbeat and trade for the Plusle as long as you get Minun in the grass, which you're most likely to do because Plusle's very rare. So you can get a Plusle in Fortree City and have all of them. You get Lantern as well, which is great coverage for the end game. You grab Electrode and you get Magneton. Where's Magneton? And these are the two you have to pick. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 7. You actually, if you change your starter, if you use the Universal Randomizer and change your starter to one of these guys so you can technically officially do the run, you have 7 Pokemon. I recommend just doing Voltorb. Then you have 7 Pokemon, and Magneton's great for the end game. Plusle, Minun are great. You don't have a ton of like variety in how you have. Most of your Pokemon are kind of just these fast sweepers, but Magneton and Lantern are both pretty bulky. So later in the game, you will have the bulky pivots, which will be nice. You also got 2 cool type coverage there. Not a lot of move coverage, but you've got supportive moves like Encore and Helping Hand and Thunder Wave across the board, and Electrode can set up screens. You've got pretty strong stab. Electric on its own just doesn't struggle that hard in Hoenn because there's not really a lot of ground types, a lot of water types. And I think it's just solid A tier. Very solid A tier. I think Dark's a little bit better. Just personally, I think the Dark squad is a little bit better than the Electric team you'll have, but you've got a nice run going for you. So I put it in the A tier. Fairy. So Fairy's an interesting one to talk about. Before I rank it, I want to show you what I would qualify as the fairies, and I think this is any Pokemon that turns into a fairy in Gen 6 and beyond, which is Azumarill gets the fairy typing, Gardevoir gets the fairy typing, Wigglytuff gets the fairy typing. Who else here? There's another one here. Who else grabs the fairy typing? Why am I spacing this out so hard? Oh, Mawile grabs it. And you actually probably want to change Mawile to your starter, unless you're playing in Ruby, so you can get it not by the Elite Four. Because in Emerald, it's only in the Victory Road. And then the last one I consider is Altaria. Altaria doesn't turn into a fairy type, but its Mega does. So I think that counts. If you want to do a fairy run, you've got 5 Pokemon. And with this coverage, you're looking pretty okay. So how a run of this would go is, at the beginning of the game, you have your starter be Mawile, unless you're playing Ruby. And you have Gardevoir, Marill, and Mawile for the first 2 gyms. Roxanne's easily taken care of by Marill, and if you have Mawile, Ralts/Kirlia will take care of Brawly. Then you get to Watson, and that's going to be hard. Watson with these 3 is going to be tricky. I couldn't tell you a great answer for it, but Mawile does have fake tears and bite, so that could be pretty good with the black glasses, and then Kirlia can set up Calm Minds. If you get lucky, you can set up Calm Minds on something and try to sweep through that way, so there's definitely possible. Flannery's not going to be too hard with Altaria, and honestly, just Azumarill takes care of Flannery. Normal, pretty tricky with these 4, but you've got Mawile to intimidate and resist everything, and you can even start setting up with like Gardevoir, and all these Pokemon are just pretty strong overall. Then you get Wigglytuff once you beat Norman. Get access to some coverage moves. I don't see Winona being too hard. Tate Liza doesn't look too hard for this either. And then you can kind of just set up Gardevoir with Calm Minds and blow through a lot of things. You can set up Dragon Dances with Altaria and blow through a lot of things. You've got huge power Azumarill. Looking like a pretty solid squad. I put it in the B tier, I think. Or was it also C tier with Bug? I think just because Bug had more encounters. And yeah, I think Bug had a few more encounters, so I would put it in the same thing. But I think Fairy overall would be a little bit easier, just because you don't have the crazy hard walls that Bugs does. So they even out pretty close. I think it's also in the C tier. Fighting type is joining as well. Fighting type has some really strong Pokemon, but the issue with the type is most of the Pokemon do the exact same thing. And that's kind of the case here with Fighting type, even though you have a lot of cool coverage, you really don't get anything exciting. And you could throw in Metacham, but you'd have to mod your game. You can't just make it a starter because you have to switch out Blaziken. And I think it's just tricky, and I'm not really going to qualify that for just this kind of criteria. If you can change your starter to something and like you can throw Zangoose on for normal or something and do that easily by just changing your starter, But once you have to like add more encounters to the game, I kind of draw the line at that for easy stuff. I'm missing one. Where is a champ? There we go. So you have 5 Pokemon. These Pokemon are really strong. You've got a really... So you got a hard matchup for... who is it? You get through... Which was just Shroomish. You can take care of Roxanne. With these 3 against Brawl, you're doing pretty okay. You've got Peck on Combuskin. And you've got some like pretty good tanks here. So you're doing pretty okay there. Watson's actually really easy with these 3. These are some 3 of the best Pokemon to use against Watson. Then you get to Flannery, and I don't think she's that hard with a thick, fat Hariyama. Your Combuskin, you even have Machoke by that point. And for Norman, you've got these 4. You probably shouldn't struggle too hard with a bunch of bulky fighting types and bulk up setup and stuff. And then after that, you can once you get to Winona, is your first hard wall. And I really couldn't tell you the plan against Winona. I really could not tell you that plan. I don't know. That's where the first hard wall comes in and bumps it down. And then after that, you have Tate and Liza, and that's another one. I don't really know a great strategy to beat those, especially without any deaths, because you only have 5 Pokemon, so you can't necessarily sack anything. So it's rough. It's really rough. And that's why I think it goes down to the C tier. Other than that, once you get past those 2 gyms, the rest of the game is really not that hard. So I think it might be... If it had a full team, it'd be better than Bug. Bug at least has a full team to work with. You can maybe sack one thing, and especially if you get rid of the Nuzlocke rules and get all 9 bugs on your team, you know, it bumps up a little higher. So I think fighting sits down here in the C tier with the rest. Fire, F is for fire. It burns in the whole town, because how do you beat this game with fire? So you guys are probably thinking, you know, the water gym and then the water champion, like how do you beat those? The issue doesn't even start with that. The issue starts at the beginning of the game. This is your only Pokemon up to Flannery, because you don't get Slugma until after Watson. You don't get Torkoal until after Watson. You don't get Camera up till after Watson. These guys in roughly the same area, but you can't get all of them with Magma Hideout and everything. And then you get Ninetales very late. But how you have to hard EV train your Pokemon to win anything, because the level cap means that you're stuck with a Torchic instead of Combuskin against Roxanne. So beating Roxanne's going to be annoying. You only have 1 Pokemon for Brawly, and it's going to be rough because Combuskin's very squishy. You're only running with Combuskin against your rival fights and all the way up to Watson, which it's not a great Pokemon for, because you're just going to lose them electric and you're going to take way too much damage. I really don't see you beating any of the 3 gyms with just a Blaziken without hard EV training and a lot of luck. And then you get that, and then you get to Flannery, and sure, Flannery's pretty easy. And then Norman's not too hard. And Winona's not the hardest thing ever until her Altaria shows up, and how do you really beat the Altaria reliably? I guess Camera could get Rock Slide, but it's just going to drop to a single Earthquake. So it's just like, oh man, things get rough. And then Tate and Liza, how do you deal with the earthquaking Claydol with this team? How do you do that? And then you get to Juan, and then your troubles get even worse. I think Fire type just gets pooped on by every single gym in the entire game, so I think it's easily at F tier. It's joined by one other type, and we'll get to that later, but it's by far the worst. I don't recommend trying Fire unless you run that ridiculous challenge. Because once you get to the Elite Four, it's funny. Like Sydney, it's pretty easy. Phoebe's not impossible, and then Glacia's kind of hard too, because it's a bunch of water types, and then Drake, and then you have Wallace. Like, oh my gosh, it's so hard for fire types, dude. Don't do it. Flying type, you get 10 Pokemon out of 11. You could change your starter to be Masquerain. First get Masquerain to get another one, so you have 11 or 12. That's a really easy change. And the flying type encounters you get are just so strong. First off, you get Gyarados so after Roxanne. Let's talk about Roxanne first. Your flying types you're gonna have Swellow, you're gonna have Pelipper. Pelipper can take care of Roxanne on her own. You also get Beautyfly, who can help with Roxanne. Right after that, you can go to Granite Cave, get a Zubat, evolve it into a Crobat pretty soon. You can go get your Gyarados. Then shortly after that, after Watson's very hard. So don't get me wrong, Watson is a ridiculously hard gym fight, but you do have at least 2-3 fully evolved Pokemon who are really strong, so you could probably pull something off. Maybe even if you lose someone like Crobat here, it's not the worst thing in the world. Beautyfly can definitely go down here. As much as I hate to say it, Pelipper could probably go down to Watson. Because once you get past Watson, the game just clears up. Even Flannery's not hard with these 2 water types. You get Skarmory, he's going to be a crazy carry later. You might have Masquerain, which I'll... Oh, you have Ninjask, I forgot to call. I forgot to say you have Ninjask by Roxanne, too. So you have 4 Pokemon, actually. And Ninjask with Swords Dance, Baton Pass later is going to be so ridiculously crazy. You get Tropius later for some Grass-type coverage once you get Surf. And in the Safari Zone, you can get one of 2 Pokemon, Dodrio or Xatu. Dodrio's probably the better pick, but Xatu for Psychic and Calm Mind stuff could be okay. And who's the other Pokemon you get? Oh yeah, you get Altaria. Altaria around here, so Flannery, you've got a Dragon-type as well. So you've got a lot of encounters up to this for Norman. You've got Skarmory for Norman. You got to protect Pokemon. You're looking really, really good. And, oh yeah, by the Elite Four, you can have a Salamence. And you are just... There's so many good Pokemon. Like, there's so many ridiculously good Pokemon here. The only Pokemon in this list that's, like, not very good is, like, Xatu and Beautyfly. And you can just get Dodrio, who's fantastic with Silk Scarf. Boosted Tri-Attacks is really strong. Like, oh my gosh, there's so much... There's so much here. There's so many good Pokemon. I think it's easily S tier. It's not the best region for flying, because you do have... Watson is going to be hard. Roxanne's not stupid free, but she's not hard. And who's after that? I can't really think of anyone who's like super hard. I guess Glacia could be a little tricky, but you also have just Dragon Dance Gyarados to set up on her and blow her team up. So you're not looking too bad, really. Yeah, flying type's easy S tier to me. Grass. Grass is a fun one. Grass is a really fun one to do a Nuzlocke or a Monolocke of an Emerald. Kind of like Electric, you got all the water types you're going to do really good against, and you get 8 Pokemon. There's 9, but one's a split evolution between Bellossom and Vileplume. You could throw Roselia as an encounter in the game, but you can't really change your starter unless you want to change Sceptile to Roselia, which why would you do that? So I'm going to kind of ignore that. If you're playing Ruby, I guess you get... If you play Ruby or Sapphire, you get Roselia. But you also won't get both of these, which you can get in Emerald. So just for Emerald, just ignore Roselia, whatever. It's the worst grass type ever anyways. For the first gym, Roxanne's going to be super easy with all these grass types. You get Cradilly later. You get by Watson and even by Brawler, you can get your Gloom Vileplume, which you can evolve into either one is great. You get Breloom very early too. So you got a lot of Pokemon early game. You get Tropius later for flying type, and you also get Cacturne later as realistically a sack, but another Pokemon there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 Pokemon, right? Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Pokemon. You will have to probably evolve into Bellossom with the Sunstone, unless you want to find a Leaf Stone with the shards, I believe this is how you can get a Leaf Stone. I can't remember how you get a second one. I only use one, so you might just be stuck with Blossom. But if you can get second Leaf Stone using Vileplume for Stab, Sludge Bomb could be okay. Your team really, you can use all 3 weather types. You've got a Sand mode with these 2 Pokemon in Sandstorm. You've got a Sun mode with these 3 to 4 Pokemon who all have Chlorophyll. You've even got a Rain mode with Ludicolo. So you can have a lot of different synergy, a lot of different ways to use your team. With all these Pokemon, you actually got a lot of coverage here. You got Dark, Water, Flying, Rock, Fighting. Sceptile can learn a lot of different moves. Poison, of course. You got the supportive Pokemon with like Sleep Powder, and the evade. You can do like some evasion stuff and Leech Seed Spikes with Cacturne, which is kind of okay. Cradily is a pretty good stall. You've got your sweepers and Sceptile and like these 4 right here, all kind of sweepers. Tropius is pretty tanky too. So you got some pretty cool variety there. It's a lot of fun to do. But you do have some hard walls. Roxanne's going to be pretty easy. Brawly's not going to be too hard with these 4 Pokemon. So against Brawly, you're going to have these 5. Or, no, only 2 of these. Because you get one of these early on, and then you get one of them later on after Watson. And they're out. So you have one. So something like this, these 4 Pokemon against Brawly, you're doing pretty okay, especially with the Gloom or an Oddish to resist. Watson's not going to be too hard, really, at all. With Grass type resists, Gloom and Breloom are so good at taking care of Watson. So even just these two together can take care of it. But then you hit Flannery, and it's very hard to fight Flannery. You will have all 5 of these. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will have a water type in Lombre, but I don't think it even has a water type move. So you're kind of like, I guess, trying to put something to sleep with Gloom and then set up a bunch of bulk ups with Breloom and Mach Punch your way through and like Brick Break, Sky Uppercut your way through the gym and hope for the best. So it's doable but hard. Norman will be pretty tricky but doable once because you also have these Pokemon. And Cacturne's a pretty good sack here, honestly. And after that, Winona gets hard again. You do have Ice Beam you can teach the Lombre at least, but it's still going to be a Lombre, which is going to be weak. But you can still do some, you have Sunny Day at that point, so you can do some Chlorophyll, Sleep Powder, Shenanigans, or Chlorophyll Sweeper. Being Shift Tree, which can be a Shift Tree at that point because you get the Leaf Stone, or Tropius to be immune to the Earthquake. So you're not really scared of the Alteria's Earthquake that hard. Cradily is also part Rock type, so you have at least something to switch in. It's bulky and neutral. So that definitely helps. And then Tate and Liza is really easy. Juan's going to be pretty easy for you. All of the Elite Four. Even Glacia is not too hard with Breloom. So I think you're looking good. You've got 2 hard walls, and I think you, with the 8 encounters, puts you above the C tiers that you just have more Pokemon than the C tiers. But you have harder matchups than Dark and Electric in the A tier, so I think B tier is a perfect spot for the Grass type. Ground typing I put also in the B tier. You have 8 out of 10 Pokemon, and a pretty similar matchup spread for all of the gyms and Elite Four members in Hoenn. So first off, you've got 1 of 2 Pokemon in Safari Zone, Rhydon or Donphan. Why am I saying so much? I'm going to be editing those out here in the future, but we'll get to that later. You start with Swampert, who's such a hard carry for most of the game. You get Nincada, which I'll just call as Ninjask right here, or Shedinja. You have Nincada. You get 2 of 3 of the desert Pokemon, because you get 1 in the desert and 1 in Mirage Tower, which is a different encounter. Golem as well. Here we go. We have Claydol, Sandshrew, and Flygon. Really, you don't want Sandshrew, you want one of these 2. You get Golem, you have Camerupt here shortly after, and I think that is all of the ground types. I want to make sure I'm not missing any here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because you get 3 of these guys, 1 of these, or two of the 3 of these desert encounters, because 2 desert encounters you get, and the rest of these are all guaranteed. You guarantee a Swampert, you guarantee. So Roxanne's gonna be really easy. Brawly's gonna be pretty tricky. Brawly would be pretty tricky, but you do have an Nincada who's resist, so you can probably get through it. And Marshtomp is gonna be bulky and help out there as well. Then for Watson's gonna be super free with these 2 ground types. Either one of these 2 is gonna completely solo Watson. Then after Watson for Flannery's not going to be hard with a ton of ground types and Camera to resist and Swampert to resist and all this stuff. Dude, there's so much. And then by Norman, you have your desert encounters. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a full team of 6 Pokemon. You're looking pretty good. You've got the Dig Strats. You don't have like Protect, Toxic Stall, but you do have Dig Strats. And this is the perfect time for Nincada to be sacked if it hasn't been sacked already. Like Nincada's done for at this point pretty much. Then Winona, you've got Ice Beam on your water types. Gonna be pretty easy. Tate and Liza, honestly these 2 do really good against Tate and Liza, as well as Claydol and Vibrava with Levitate and Crunch and stuff like that. You can teach Claydol Shadow Ball. You're looking pretty solid for Tate and Liza. And then you hit the wall, and that is Juan. You do have 2 neutral Pokemon to Juan, 3 neutral Pokemon to Juan, but how do you reliably beat Juan? That I couldn't really tell you. And that's where you hit the hard wall. And then not just Juan, but Wallace is going to do the same thing to you as well. The Elite Four really is not too hard, but it's just those 2 water type trainers are so tricky. So like Grass, I think you've got a couple hard walls, and I think it lands right next to Grass. I'm not sure if I think it's better or worse than Grass. I think with these Pokemon, I think Swampert hard carries you through most of the game, but I want to say it's easier than Grass. But I feel like Grass has more type synergy, which is the weathers and stuff it can do. I'm going to go ahead and call Ground better. Just a little bit, but these 2 are neck and neck. I think they're pretty much the exact same. in terms of how their difficulty and stuff. I think they'd be pretty fun to do as well. Normal is another S tier type. You can change your starter to Zangoose and get another normal type, and then you have, 12 Pokemon? Otherwise, you would have 11 encounters. And let's take a look at those encounters. First off, you have Girafarig, or you have Dodrio from the Safari Zone. Girafarig's probably the better pick here, because Agility, Calm Mind, Baton Pass is crazy, crazy strategy. You have Linoon, who takes care of the Elite Four on his own and is a great early game. Delcatty, who is a sack. Is purely just a sack. Swellow, who is such a hard carry with guts. Slacking, whose stat total is just ridiculous. Exploud, who can offer some coverage. You get Spinda, who can offer a little bit of coverage. You get Wigglytuff, who also is basically just the same thing as Exploud. You get Castform, who can offer coverage but stab and do some weather stuff. Kecleon, who's actually a really good wall, really good special wall, and color change can be really cool. Am I missing anything? You get Swablu. Not Altaria, but you get Swablu, so that's a decent encounter for a little bit, with things like Sing for a little bit. It can help you out. It can help you out for a time, be a sack early on. Who am I missing? And then Zangoose could be your starter. Let's call Zangoose Shift Tree. Sure, why not? I guess Blaziken kind of looks like Zangoose. There we go. We'll call Blaziken an encounter. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, because you get one of them. And if you change your starter to Zangoose, then you have 12. So 11 to 12. You're looking at some good Pokemon here. You've got a full team of really good, interesting, diverse Pokemon. You got a lot of coverage because it's normal type. Not the best region for normal type, just because you don't have a ton of them. You don't have, like, Snorlax and Clefable and other crazy normal types, but still, you're looking really solid. I can't help but put this in anything other than S tier, because the only matchup you lose, technically, is Brawly, and Swellow. Tailo with Guts just completely solos Brawly. Roxanne will be a little annoying, but you can get through it with just Slack Off, honestly. Slack Off can take care of it. Watson will be kind of tricky, but you've got some Pokemon. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Pokemon by Watson, so you can afford to sack even both of these two. One of them, you can learn Flamethrower from the Game Corner. You got Mudsport on Linoon, and Linoon can do a lot. Vigoroth can do a lot, so you're doing pretty okay. You can even teach Vigoroth bulk up, so you're looking pretty good. Flannery with Rollout shouldn't be the hardest thing, and Guts boosted Swellow's looking pretty good here too. You also get your Swablu, or your Swablu at that point, and Spinda, so you've got some more Pokemon to sack if you need to. Norman, you're kind of just scrapping with Norman, so it's not like you have amazing matchups against any gym leader, but you also don't really lose, and you have such a diverse team, you can build your team very interestingly. Castform can help against Winona with Thunderbolt, learning Thunderbolt, or Rain Dance, Thunders, or Hail, Weather Ball, stuff like that. You got a lot of interesting things you can do there. Tate and Liza, you just got some strong Pokemon to get a full team. You can definitely figure out a strategy for them. Juan, same thing, and then for the Elite Four, Linoon with Belly Drum, Substitute, Return, or Secret Power, or Strength, and Shadow Ball will take care of it. So, looking pretty easy, I think, definitely in the S tier. Probably a little bit worse than Flying, just because Encounter, I think you get better Flying types than you get normal types, but pretty much the same thing. Poison's another A tier to me. You really don't have bad matchups. Tate and Liza's the hard one, but you've got some great encounters for them, and your entire game's looking pretty solid. So Poison types, you get Crobat by the second gym, and it's just a great Pokemon. You get one of the two Poison types in Fiery Path, Weezing or Muck. You're probably hoping for Weezing for Levitate. Swalot offers some great coverage. You can also have Hit by Brawly. Roxanne will be a little tricky with just Dustox. You could change your starter to something if you wanted to get the other. You could go ahead and do that. Otherwise, just having one of these two, you get Viper, who's decent coverage for a little bit of the game. You could also change your starter to Roselia and grab Roselia and get a 9th poison type, I think it is. An 8th poison type, you still have one of these two, so you can throw Roselia in here. I guess Roselia will be covered by the Vileplume later. You can even have Vileplume by Brawly. So all these Pokemon you have by Brawly, and all these Pokemon you have after Watson. We also get Tentacruel by Brawly. You get, let's see, who am I missing here? I don't think I'm missing anybody else. I think we're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 out of 8, right? Poison. Yep, 7 out of 8. You can throw Roselia as your starter and have 8 Pokemon instead, and you still get one of these 2 guys. And you're looking solid. You got some great coverage here with just these 3 offer you so much good coverage. Weezing with Levitate is another ground immunity, which could be great for Tate and Liza. You've got a solid plan here. He could learn Shadow Ball, so you're looking pretty good. I think Muck can learn Shadow Ball too, I believe, so you've got a pretty good thing here. Swalot's bulky. You've got your sweepers and like Crobat and Tentacruel, and then you've got the bulky Pokemon. You've got high defense Pokemon and Weezing, high special defense Pokemon, Tentacruel. A lot of cool coverage here. Seviper even offers cool move coverage. It's not great because it's so slow and not bulky, but it's a decent offensive Pokemon. Dustox is a really solid beginning Pokemon, and you can definitely beat Roxanne with just Dustox. But you can also grab the Roselia, like I said. Let's put Roselia as, I guess Blossom can take over for Roselia. So let's say you have Roselia here and you have 8 Pokemon instead. It gets a little bit easier. I think Poison sits right up here with Dark and Electric. I think you've got better Pokemon overall than Electric. Like I think your whole team is looking a little bit better than Electric. Maybe not quite as Dark. Probably around the same thing as Dark. You've got the same amount of encounters. You have 7 or 8 with both. 7 to 8 with both. So, and the same thing with that A tier. Really solid type. Would be a lot of fun to do. Psychic is the same thing up here. Psychic, just did it recently. I changed my starter to Medicham to get another Pokemon, which gives you 8 Pokemon instead of 7 encounters. You could also change your starter to Lunatone if you really want to, but you don't really need to, because you get Soul Rock. Let's take a look at the encounters. So Psychic, Starmie's going to come in late game and be absolutely ridiculous. You've got to pick between a couple Pokemon in the Safari Zone, either Xatu or Girafarig. I think Girafarig is the clear pick here for sure. Calm Mind, Agility, Baton Pass is so good. You get Gardevoir at the beginning of the game, as well as Alakazam at the beginning of the game. Both you have by Roxanne, and you should be doing pretty okay. Ralts is going to have to sell a Roxanne, so it could be a little tricky. So if you wanted to change your starter to Meditite or Lunatone, just to get another Pokemon, you're doing pretty okay. And they'll help out with some coverage. Medicham, really, I'd recommend you just do Medicham. And let's call Medicham Breloom, I guess. So throw him on here. You get Wobbuffet by Flannery, and Wobbuffet is really good at just 1v1ing any single scary Pokemon. You get Claydol in the... I'll pull this up a little bit. You get Claydol in the Desert. Let's call this SF. You get Grumpig by Flannery too, and with Thick Fat it can help out there. It's kind of just a sack Pokemon. It's kind of just an extra Pokemon. Who else are we missing? Psychic type. You get Chimecho. I actually might not have counted Chimecho the first time, so I think you might have another Pokemon. Just because I forget about the Pokemon is so bad. You get Solrock, who is a great Pokemon. Really helps with Flannery, with Rollout, and can take out Winona with Rollout. Solrock's really, really solid. I love this Pokemon a lot. And who are we missing? Let's see here. Psychic types. I don't think we're missing any other Psychic types. Got Alakazam. We are looking good. Yeah, so you've got 1, 2, because you get one of them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I count this right? So let's say this is Medicham. Let's see if it's okay. Even without counting your Medicham or Lunatone, whatever you change your starter to, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9 Pokemon. Let me update this on my thing. You have 9 out of 10 encounters. And if you want to change your starter to Medicham or Lunatone, you get, what is that, 10 out of 11? 10 out of 11 now? So you got a lot of Pokemon. Actually, I can't believe I miscounted this. I think this actually goes up to the S tier. I think Psychic is looking super solid. You have 2 bad matchups. So let's take a look at the gyms. Roxanne, which is a Ralts, will be a little tricky if you want to make it a little easier. You could throw in the Medicham to give you some more coverage and make this whole thing a little bit easier. Then for Brawly, Brawly's a freaking joke with 3 Psychic types. Oh my gosh, joke. Then you get to Watson, and Meditite's actually not that good for Watson because the only fighting type coverage move you would have at that point is Rock Smash, because Meditite's learn set is pretty bad. But Kadabra can actually end up soloing Watson by itself, so you're going to be okay. Should be in good hands. Flannery with Wobbuffet and Solrock, they're good. You're fine. You even have Grumpig by Flannery as well. So you've got a full team of 6 Pokemon, 5 if you're not changing your starter. Solrock pretty much solos, let's be real. Solrock solos. Solorock. And then you get to Norman. You do not have Protect or anything, but you do have Pokemon that can learn Dig. So you can Dig and stall out the Slacking. You can even have Wobbuffet take on the Slacking. You have to predict it to use Feint Attack or Facade. Just don't status it. And you get to use Feint Attack, and then you use Mirror Coat, I believe it is, to reflect back at the Slacking and take things on. Wobbuffet's actually really good at just 1v1ing scary Pokemon. Then against Winona, you're looking very solid with Thunderbolt on like Gardevoir, and you got a Rock type with Levitate. You can even go grab a Staryu at this point. You have access to all these Pokemon. You got Chimeku's great for setting screens. Claydol's got Levitate, Solrock's got Levitate, Grumpig can be another support Pokemon over Chimecho if it's still alive. Starmie with Ice Beam, and even Thunderbolt if you wanted to. Or Staryu at that point. Tate and Liza, very easy. I just did a Psychic Monolocke of this game, and I did make Medicham my starter, which only helped a little bit, actually. It doesn't even carry that hard, just because these two are such strong carry Pokemon. You set up Calm Mind, Agility, Baton Pass to any Pokemon with Girafarig, and they're all complete monsters. The 2 losing matchups would be Sydney, which gets significantly easier if you did take Medicham. Without Medicham, you can still set up something. We can still set up a Calm Mind, Agility, Gardevoir, and Thunderbolt your way through it and have a pretty okay time with it. Phoebe, you can scrap your way through. Some things can learn Shadow Ball, so something like Claydol, if you make Claydol a physical attacker, or even Girafarig with Crunch, can take care of Phoebe, so you're looking pretty okay. Glacia is just a scrap, but you've got Thunderbolt and you've got some strong Pokemon. Drake is a scrap, but you have some strong Pokemon, and same with Wallace. I think this type is looking amazing, and counter-wise, you're looking at normal. It's actually might be better than normal. This is another S-tier type. I had it in the A-tier below, but I didn't realize you actually get more because I miscounted a couple Pokemon. So I think this sits up here in the S-tier. Not as good as Flying, but around normal for just how much fun and easy it is, even without changing your starter to Medicham or Lunatone. I think if you don't change your starter and you play the game vanilla, I think normal's a little bit better, but if you do change your starter, I think Psychic might be a little bit better. Rock typing, you have, just like Psychic, you have 10 Pokemon, 10 out of 11, you have to make a choice. You can change your starter to either Lunatone or one of the other fossils. To get 11, I think changing to Lunatone actually does make your matchups pretty much easier. Let's go take a look. So, you get Rhydon in the Safari Zone for free. You actually don't have a Rock type before Roxanne, so you do have to change something to have a Rock type by then. You can get Aggron in Granite Cave, or in the Safari, or in the Victory Road. You can get Nose Pass. Where's Nose Pass? Only in Granite Cave, but realistically, you're probably not getting Nose Pass, so this might actually be 9 or 10 encounters, depending on how you do it. You get Mac Cargo at some point. You get, where is it? You get Solrock later on, who's great. You get one of the 2 fossils, unless you change it to your starter. You get one of these 2. There are 2 dive routes, so you get both Relicanth and Corsola. Where's Corsola? There we go. You get Regirock, 2. You just have to catch a Wailord and call Wailord your Surf or Dive Pokemon. And with Relicanth, you can do the things. You can do the puzzle to go get Regirock, and of course you get Golem as well. Realistically, you're going to get one of these 2 in Granite Cave. You're not going to have Nose Pass. You might just want to reset until you get Golem at the beginning and get Aggron later in Victory Road. Aggron's really not that good. Does not help out that much. I'm not missing any Rock types, alright? Am I? Alright. What did I just say there? So you change your starter to either Lunatone or the other fossil, and you grab the other one later. For a total of 1, 2, with a potential total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say you changed your starter. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You change your starter or it's Lunatone. Either way. But realistically, you're not getting Nose Pass because you have to use Rock Smash in Granite Cave. And I really don't see you getting Nose Pass, using it, wanting it over these two. So goes down to 10 or 11 if you didn't change your starter. And you have to skip Roxanne if you didn't change your starter because you don't get any of these before then. So I recommend change your starter just to the other fossil or to Lunatone. Lunatone might be easier for Brawly because your squad against Brawly is going to be whatever you change your starter to and one of these two. So yeah, good luck with like Anorith and these guys. So I would recommend changing it to Lunatone, honestly, and pick one of the fossils later. Yeah, Lunatone. Let's go ahead and call Lunatone Claydol. So let's say you have Lunatone for Roxanne, should be pretty free. Brawly will be a little tough, but you can definitely do it. And then Watson, if you've grabbed Golem, is free. Watson's free. If you have Aggron, you're pretty screwed. So I would honestly reset till you get Golem. Then Flannery is going to be pretty easy with Soul Rock. You get a Slugma at that point. And you got 4 of these Pokemon. All of them are doing good against Flannery. You also can go get your Fossil, one of your fossils by Norman. So you've got a full team of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not a full team. You got 5 Pokemon here. Ignore Aggron. So you got this ideal squad. For Norman, you can grab Anorith, who has Protect. You can stall out the Slacking. Otherwise, you just got a bunch of Rock types who resist everything except for the Feint attacks and make them Feint attack. So looking pretty good there. Then once you get access to Surf in the Safari Zone, you can go get Rhydon. And then after that, you can go after you beat Winona, because you've got a bunch of Rock types. You should be okay. And 2 Rock types at this point who are immune to Earthquake or resist Earthquake or neutral Earthquake in these two. Tate and Liza will be not too difficult. It might be a little tricky, but you've got 2 Levitators. You could have Cradilly for grass coverage there. So you could be okay. After them, you can go get your dives. So you can go get your water rock types. You can go get Regirock at this point. And you can, I think you can even get to Victory. No, you can't get to Victory Road until after you beat Juan. So he will come later. But you'll have... Let's go ahead and say you have these guys. So you've got all of these Pokemon at this point. And once you hit Juan, this is where things get really rough. I don't really know how you beat Juan with just the Rock types. You have at least Neutral, and I would probably have grabbed Cradilly for this fight instead of Armaldo. Just to make Juan possible, you can set up Solar Beam Sunny Days with Cradilly, but things get rough. You're kind of using these 3 and hoping for the best. Things are hard, though. But you do have a lot of Pokemon that can blow up and use Explosion or Self-Destruct, so that could just be your strategy. Once you get to the Kingdra, Golem Self-Destructs and bye-bye. Or somebody here Self-Destructs and says bye-bye to that Kingdra. But then you have to do it again with Wallace, and you hit a really hard wall. So just like Ground, you're hitting a hard wall. I think Ground's got an easier early game, but Rock does have more Pokemon, so I think it's on par with Ground, because Rock has 10 or 11 Pokemon, and Ground has 8. So you've got some more Pokemon to play with, you got more Pokemon to blow up, but I think Ground is looking better overall. So with Grass, I think you can kind of shift this order however you really want. I would put it something like this in the B tier. Steel is another one of the F tier types, and it sounds really good on paper. Let's call it, so you have to change your starter to Metagross, so you get a Steel type, and you really should probably just play Ruby for this so you can get Mawile early, but you also get the other Steel type. You get Mawile and Aggron in the same 2 places, Granite Cave and Victory Road. You get one of those 2, and really it's going to be way easier if you get Mawile instead of our Aggron. So I'd probably just do this in Ruby. You have to change your starter to Metagross. Let's call Regice Metagross here. You get Registeel at the end, you get Skarmory, and you get Magneton. You get all 6 of these guys throughout the game. And so it's realistically going to look like this. You have to beat Roxanne with a Beldum that only knows Takedown. That's going to be fun. It's going to take a very long time. It's going to be hard. You have to beat Brawly with 2 Steel types. One is neutral, but only has Takedown. You do have Silk Scarf, but like you only have Takedown. You have 55 attacks, so you're you're gonna struggle against Brawly. And then you have to beat Watson with only these two Pokemon or only these two Pokemon. Again, this is Metagross. And I don't really know how you do that. I don't really know how you beat Watson because you can't switch out of the Magneton with Magapul. I don't see you beating Watson. I don't see you beating Brawly. It only gets worse because then you have to go fight Flannery. And if you have Aggron, I guess you can roll out and hope for the best, but you're so slow, and you're probably going to get outsped in one shot by magnitudes and overheats. So, how do you beat Flannery? But if by some chance you have happened to make it out of Flannery, and you've got the rest of the game ahead of you, it's actually pretty good. You're looking very solid. Norman should not be hard with a bunch of steel types. Winona should not be hard with a bunch of steel types. Skarmory and Magneton go crazy against Winona. Against Tate and Liza, you're looking very good with only these 4 Pokemon, but still, you're looking so good. Then against Wallace, you've got Magneton, who's a great answer to Wallace. You can even get... Or not Wallace, sorry. Juan. You can even have Registeel at that point, who can learn Electric type, like Zap Cannon. So you've got another Pokemon there. And then after Wallace, you can get your Elite Four counter, which is the other one you didn't get in Granite Cave. And for the Elite Four, you've got a full team of 6 Pokemon. So they resist every type in the Elite Four. You have Mawile that can Intimidate, make everything even more bulky, and then Iron Defense, substitute Baton Pass to anything, and now something never dies. Literally never dies. And then whoever needs to do sweeping, you've got Metagross, you've got Registeel, you've got Magneton, you've got Skarmory. It's really gross, honestly. The end game, it gets really gross. I just do not see how you get past the first 4 gyms. I really don't see it. I really can't tell you how you do it. So that's why it's in the F tier. It could maybe be C tier, but I feel like it's just so bad. It's so hard. Like Watson, how do you beat Watson, dude? How? How do you do it? I can't think of how you do it. Without like perfect EV training and I don't know. Like how? Like how do you do it? I guess you have Metang by Watson, but what is Metang gonna do? Sorry, but what is Metang gonna do? Like it's bulky, but like what moves do you have? Confusion, Metal Claw. You don't even learn Scary Face in the middle of the gym, so you're not even outspeeding things. Like what are you doing? Rock Smash, I guess. I don't really see it. And then Flannery, and then like Brawly. It's just like I don't know how you beat those guys. And then the last tier is the SS, and because you're going to cruise through the game with, 19 encounters? You have 19 out of 21 water types that you can encounter, and you lose to no gym, you lose no matchup. Here's the water types. You get Seeking, you get Starmie, you get Gyarados. If you get Gyarados, you're at least S tier. You get Lantern, Stab Electric. You get a Azumarill, early game Pokemon. You get Kingdra later. You get Dragon-type Swim Pokemon. You get Swampert, who carries you through the entire early game, carries you through Watson. Flannery's a joke here. Like, oh my lord. You get Pelipper, who's got Protect, and you can learn Toxic and can shut down Norman's Slacking, so that's another scary Pokemon taken care of. Oh, let's see. Once you get Surf and the Fishing Rods and stuff, you can go get your Sharpedo, you can go get your Wailord, you can get Milotic later, you can get Walrein once you get to the Shoal Cave, you can get Clamperl or one of its evolutions, and honestly, Clamperl's really good with the Deep Sea. I think it's the Scale is the one that raises its special attack, or doubles its special attack, so it's really hard hitting Pokemon. So it's a great like Surf and Ice Beam like stab combo, or not, Ice Beam isn't stab, but it's got Shell Armor too. So Clamperl's actually really good. You got Walrein, you got Wishcash for another water ground type. You get Crawdont, who can set up Swords Dance and also has Shell Armor. You get Golduck in the Safari Zone. You get Tentacruel really early on. You get so many Pokemon, dude. There's so many of them. I feel like I'm missing some. I feel like there's more. There might not be more, no. Oh, Love Disc, sure. And here's how this goes. So with Dive, I actually am missing some more. I've got Corsola, and where's Relicanth? You get Relicanth. So with Dive, there's 2 dive routes. So you get 2 of these 3 Pokemon. So let's do this. 2 out of 3. Or 2 of the 4, actually, sorry. Because Clamperl's here. And I'm just going to throw these up here because ignore them. It's Clamperl. So you get 2 of these 4 Pokemon. In the early game, you guarantee all of these Pokemon. You guarantee you start a Swampert, you can get Pelipper and Marill on those first routes. You have these 3 for Roxanne. Then by Brawly, with the fishing routes, you get these 3 in all of the fishing routes. Right out in Dewford Town, either 206 or 207. And then in, what is it called? Dewford Town, I believe. Yeah, Dewford Town, where Norman's gym is. You can go catch a Seeking and guarantee that encounter. So you've got a full team of 6 by Brawly, which is wild. And immunity to Watson, so Watson's going to be free. Brawly's going to be free with resists, flying type, resist. You've got Peck, so you're looking good. Flannery's a joke. Norman, you've got so many. You got Gyarados by Norman. You've got just so many Pokemon, dude. So many Pokemon. Like, how do you? What do you lose to? Oh, I forgot one. Ludicolo. You get Ludicolo too, so don't forget this one. Who's also a guaranteed encounter with all of these guys. Like, this is all right here guaranteed by Brawly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 guaranteed by Brawly. Here's a sack. Here's a sack. Honestly, with Gyarados, Pelipper can be sacked too. You get these 2 crazy League Game carries. You get Dark type, who's really good. Another Dark type who's solid. Milotic is a beast of a tank. Wailord's really good too. Walreign's crazy. Golduck can offer some pretty interesting coverage. Love Disc, I guess, exists, so sure. And then you get 2 of these 4, and Lantern can be super lucky. Honestly, Corsola is the only one that's like really bad here. These 3 are all very solid Pokemon and can be pretty solid for you. But you're really hoping for probably these 2, most likely, or these 2. You're really hoping for Lantern, just because Lantern's Stab Electric is so good. If you want to evolve Clamperl into one of these 2, you can. So with all of this, you've got 2 of these 4 Pokemon. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 out of 21 Pokemon. And there's so many water routes. There's so many routes. You can guarantee all of these Pokemon just by making sure you're fishing in changing your fishing order. I'm not going to tell you all what it is now because it's a lot of research you got to do, but I promise you can get all these Pokemon. You can get them all. There's not one you miss. Even if you miss like 1, you still have like 19. You have 19 Pokemon. You can build 4 full teams of Pokemon. You can build 4 full teams of water. Here's a full team. Here's a full team. Here's a full team. Oh, sorry, 3. You can build 3 full teams of Pokemon and still have 1 extra. 3 full teams of water. It's ridiculous. Like, tell me, and you don't lose any matchups because Swampert takes you out of the Electric Gym. Please tell me how you struggle. Okay, that's it. And this is the final list. Sorry that this is a long one. My videos are always long. I think you guys like it when my whole videos are long. I'm going in detail and showing you how Monolocke's going to go. Monolocke Emerald, dude, it's fun. It's really, really fun. If you're first starting out, I recommend you start out with A tier or S tier or water type. If you want to get a challenge, B tier, even C tier. And if you want to go through hell, you can try F tier, I guess. You can try. Anyways, that's going to do it for the list, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Love y'all. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be editing my videos here in the future. Love y'all. Peace.